Welcome to the Parts Girl podcast, powered by PartsEdge with Kaylee Filio. Conversations that will transform the way we do business. Gain insight into the wins and struggles from automotive professionals.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Parts Girl podcast. We are having a special show today. I have 4 people I'm interviewing because we are all going to be at Digital Dealer together with a very special session. So first, I want everyone to just quickly introduce themselves. Martha, you go first.
Hi, everybody. I'm Martha Alvarado, BDC Director at Wondries Toyota. Been doing this for 22 years, and managing BDC is really my passion.
Hey, everyone. I'm Sarah Vantine. I'm the Vice President of Sales at Quantum 5 and the creator of the People First BDC program with Quantum 5.
My name is Wendy Reeves, and I am BDC Angels and huge BDC enthusiast. And mostly, I guess our niche thing is we train, build, and manage either outsourced leads or remote work from home teams for sales and service BDCs. And also we now do vehicle buying centers as well.
Hi, I'm Sean Armour, owner and founder of BDC Alchemy Inc., and I assist dealerships in architecting revenue-generating BDCs.
Awesome. So if you haven't gathered, we're going to be talking about BDCs today. But the session that we're having at Digital Dealer is, hopefully I say this right, because I don't even know what song it comes from. If you have a problem, yo, we'll solve it. And that's from a song, right? Like, I'm so naive. I don't even know what song it's from.
I
didn't know.
Vanilla Ice.
Oh, Vanilla Ice.
I just aged myself, Kaylee. Thank you.
Is it Vanilla Ice? Oh, okay.
It is actual Vanilla Ice.
Well, I just showed how young I am because I'm like, I don't even know.
I know that's a problem for me.
Don't put us on the spot.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay, cool. So there's so much to talk about with BDC. Like before we started recording, we were like, there's just so much going on with it. So first I want to start with Martha, with being at the dealership and just some of the pain points that the dealers face and, what have you seen? What's going on?
So one of the pain points I think sometimes is retention and training. Okay, we got to focus on how to keep our teams motivated. We have to focus on how to keep them positive. In a BDC field service, it is a lot of sometimes the struggles that we have with customers that we have to face on a daily basis. And you have to be on the outlook. Okay, where's the problem coming? And how are you going to continue motivating your BDCs? Hey, shake it off, continue and move to the next customer. But at the same time, learn from that experience, right? So I have said this before, BDC is like the hub where we're going to find a lot of flaws and pains that the dealership is going through. So it's very important that we listen to the people inside the BDC because they can communicate to you the place where processes are failing and where you can go ahead and fix them. And the other thing is like, if we're going to open a BDC, and if this is where dealerships I think fail, is that we want to put someone in charge and we want them to lead. But are we training them to do that job? Okay, are we keeping them motivated to do that job? Because it's the whole, I said, BDC is the lungs of the dealership. We have to keep the dealership breathing, right? So, but who is going to maintain the head of that department and give them the support that they need?
To talk about, training and sustainability and what that looks like. Because that's kind of, I would say, like a first step. Because we talk about the problems, but like, what's the first step to really like get this fixed?
Yeah, so Martha, your points brought up great. It was a great segue into talking about training and some of the pain points that happen in a BDC on a daily and monthly, yearly basis. So just to really start the conversation there, I think all of us on this call and all of this on this podcast today, we really have been in the position of being in the trial by fire in an organization and in a dealership. We've had to go through the trenches. We've had to pull people along with us. And there's been times in my career where I've made some mistakes, and there's been times where I've had amazing wins. But all of it was really foundationally developed by somebody investing their time and energy into me and really aligning themselves in how I personally was growing and developing. And so training is so important because oftentimes in dealerships, that's the conversation when I'm having these discussions with dealerships that dealers don't really know how to navigate that scenario with their people. They don't know necessarily, okay, is my BDC actually performing at a decent rate? Because a lot of people outside the BDC manager don't know what KPIs and things that they should be monitoring their BDC doing in a day. And they don't know necessarily what their manager doesn't know. So for us, the biggest piece that we want to start with is understanding baseline, where is everybody at today? What are their skills? What are they proficient in? We can all say that many people have a great greeting. They might be talking to the customer effectively, but when an objection comes up, that's when the wheels fall off and things start to get a little rocky and rough. So everybody has skills and weaknesses, but for us as trainers, we need to partner with the dealership and understand, okay, in this department and all of these people that are part of it, where are their skills today and where can we continue to help grow them? From there, the sustainability piece is really what's going to be so critical, because it's one thing to have somebody come in and do training, but how do you keep that training alive? Oftentimes what happens is that falls on the BDC manager to sustain. And Martha can say this, but when the phones are ringing and stuff gets crazy and people are calling out sick, that's a little harder to facilitate sometimes. It's harder to get into the conversations doing one-on-one coaching and things like that. So who do you have as a trusted partner that can take that burden off of your dealership shoulders and help that manager grow and hold their team accountable? But then beyond that, the sustainability piece is finding out where everybody in the department wants to ultimately end up. What are the things that motivate them at the end of the day? Is it contests? Is it cloud? Is it doing the best? Is it having the most appointments? Are they just trying to get by and figure out, how they're going to support their family or their children? We have to take all these things into consideration, because really, at the end of the day, the person that's in our whole department is who we need to be developing so we have better customer experiences.
Absolutely. Those two connect. And then I feel like we're going to go backwards a little bit, not backwards, but start with what if you don't have a BDC? What if you need help launching and really where do you start if you see this opportunity and you're like, how do I start? So I'm going to go to Sean and then I'm going to go to Wendy. Sean, what is it? What's the first step with launching without knowing anything?
Well, this is my opinion. It's subjective, right? There's a lot of many answers, right? So there's a lot of many ecosystems. So this is just my opinion. But what has worked, I think one of the most critical aspects is to first define exactly what you want a BDC for. What are we trying to accomplish? Is it because we have poor training on the sales floor and they're just not putting in the notes? Or do we actually need a BDC that is absolutely going to cost you about $1 million a year, right? So you really, really need to define what exactly are we trying to accomplish. Now, how do you define it? Stephen R. Covey in the 8 Habits of Highly Efficient People, one of my favorite ones was begin with the end in mind, right? The first thing you got to do is define it. So I believe Sarah made mention to it, which I absolutely support. What is our current state? And we need to figure out what is the current state? What is the training? Like Sarah was saying, and Martha, where are we? Where do we want to go, et cetera, et cetera. So defining where you currently are and also defining what I refer to as your desired state. So what is our current state? What is our desired state? And there's a gap in the middle. You need to fill in that gap. So within the gap, I could come out and say this. There's a lot of other reasons. I'm not sure if you guys on this panel who are absolutely amazing at what you do. If you have something to add, please do. But there are 4 main reasons why a BDC fails. And this is what I tell all my clients right now. We need to start off with why it fails to begin with. The first reason, in order actually, the first reason why a BDC would fail is when the owner is not behind it. Right? Similar to what I think Martha was alluding to, you can't just have a BDC just to have a BDC. Right? It can't just exist. So when the owner is not behind it, it will absolutely. One of the second reasons a BDC fails is when there's friction between departments. Oftentimes what we see is that we want a BDC so bad that we actually create silos. So the BDC initiatives are not in line with those of the departments that they serve. The minute that we silo the BDC from the department that they serve, there's friction between departments. They're not working in unison. The third reason is when it becomes what it is not, which is why it's so important to define it. Now, is the BDC Are we just going to take in leads and respond to leads and do customer service type calls or what have you? Or do you want, a different kind of characteristic employee that's really good at VBDCs, like vehicle buying centers, or doing what do you call like special events or sales events or what have you? Those are really, really two different types of people. And the fourth reason, and we have to take some accountability, of course, the fourth reason why a BDC would fail is when it's poorly managed by a BDC manager, right? So by taking those four into consideration and really, really understanding that the core purpose of a BDC is to provide a continuous flow of sales and service traffic to the dealership. It should do four things. It should allow for a consistent customer interaction. It should improve customer communication, drive customer retention, and ultimately improve CSI. Nowhere in there did you hear the word sales. Sales will become a byproduct of how efficiently you're doing those elements.
Mic drop. You're like, boom.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And so, Wendy, with your focus on just like the offsite training and what that looks like, at what point does a dealership consider that option? Like, when should they start thinking that way of like, this is the time, this is what I need to do with the remote?
So I think, so it started, like for us anyway, it started a couple of years before COVID. And I saw that a lot of people were outsourcing their services, but what a lot of the dealers were doing, and the way I found out, okay, let me back it up a little bit. So 2018, we did our first remote one, but we used to work from home people, okay? Well, then in 2020, one of my clients said, hey, I got a team that I'm outsourcing to in Manila. Can you go to Manila for a week and train them? So, okay, fine. And then I had already launched their on-site team because I do on-site stuff too. And it basically is what the dealer needs in their store. So in 2018, we had already launched, they walked me in their building in Illinois in 2013 and said, here, Wendy, make me a call center. Then I flew in for a week every month for 6 months. I hired them. I recommended the same girl for 3 months in a row to be BDM. And 11 years later, she's still killing it and crushing it. 30% subprime and 40% prime shows to leads in what is now completely remote. She had 15 on-site, 6 off-site. Now she's got 15 off-site, offshore, and they're killing it, and she's remote. They have a separate buying center as well. They're crushing it. So at that time for them, they decided that the churn was too high, even in 18. And hey, someone told me I can hire this offshore or offsite or whatever because it's all together. We have onshore and offshore people, but the whole idea was a cheaper label model, frankly. It was something where if you hire outside contractors, there's no payroll implications because they're outside contractors. As long as you have a good boots on the ground person at the store to manage them, we form the teams, we hire them, we train them, and then we teach the manager how to manage them remotely. But that's not a good fit for everybody. Some of them do it, like I talked with a guy this morning. He and his buddy have opened two independent stores. One's regular and one's high line in Florida. And they just started. They just got their license. They're just ready to open their doors and they need lead gen. So they got a couple of salespeople, but they got nobody to work the leads. He says, I don't have the website up yet. I have no leads coming in. How many people do I need? I said, you got any data? You got a database? I said, let's put a couple in and rough it and build it together. And I'll do it myself. And we'll start generating organic traffic. I said, what about your Facebook pages? Are you doing anything there, right? What about a vehicle buying page that's going to attract people? And then you share all those across your channels. So you have to, like what Sean said, you have to build it. So whether I'm talking to a group with a number of franchises who also does it, here, let me give you another big reason. A lot of people post-COVID are independents, are buying up multiple stores. And let the cat out of the bag as if anybody didn't know, but they also want to get a franchise because then they get the lenders for their used car stores too. I had that conversation at the last convention and it was very enlightening. But they don't want to do a centralized thing where they got just one person in one building. That person's going to be biased to drive all the traffic to their store. So what about a centralized BDC, or what about a BDC, which we now install? We'll hire 6 people. We have 2 on the big store, on the two big stores, one on each of the other stores. We cross-train them so they can work for the other people on the day off. And we work out of the CRM and whatever and messaging platforms or Zoom or WhatsApp or Slack, or somebody just mentioned something to me today. Oh, what the heck was it? I forgot, but I found out a new one and I didn't write it down. Anyway, weird name. I'll tell you later. But anyway, they're effective, you guys. When you hire people that work from home, not in an outsourced call center where they got to go drive to it, we give our best work in our own environments. And that's why this is so hugely successful to whatever scale you want to build it. And that's why I don't advertise it, because we only do like a team at a time, a launch at a time. But I'm ready to spill it. So anybody coming to Digital Dealer, if you want ideas on how to do it for yourself, I like discussing options, guys. They might not even go with me. But I like to educate our dealers, because in a post-pandemic situation, there's just lots of choices and they don't know what they don't know.
Exactly. And I think that's the whole point of this session, because we're not just focusing on BDC. There's fixed ops, there's social, there's all these different areas, but and within this BDC, we've talked about so many different areas. And so the whole goal is to get dealers to come to the table and have the conversation, and not just like, oh, I'm the solution, hire me. More of like, these are some things that you can go back to your store and try, and you can probably learn something from this right now. this episode. Wendy, go ahead. You're muted.
So if I may, this is what this session is. It's a if you have a problem, we'll solve it across so many different platforms. So we don't want you to come and hear us speak. We want you to come to us with your problems written down so we can give you a solution to go home with.
Myrna, says one thing. Sean touched on a point that is very important. I came into a group, they called me because they wanted to create a centralized BDC for their 3 stores. Okay, but they had a remote BDC for the service side, and they said, well, we're not happy. They're not giving us the results. It's not working. When I got over there and I realized what the outsourced BDC was doing, I find out that they were not having the results that they wanted it because management inside the dealership wasn't engaged. Manager inside the dealership wasn't checking on the setup. So this team was working blind. Okay. So it doesn't matter where you wanted it to go. Sean said you need the support from upper management, from the owner, from the GM. So I'll go ahead and they ask me, how many reps do you need for each, store? I let them know how many do I need, okay, for sales. And they want to do sales and service. So you need minimum this many for this store, that many for that store, depending on the leads. They go, okay, here, you have 5 reps for sales and service for 3 dealerships, okay? Do something about it. Okay. So you have to work with what you get given, right? But at the same time, the GM was all aboard, but the GSMs were not. So even though the BDC was centralized, there was this fight, there was no fight, but there was this connection. And again, what Sean was saying, we cannot develop a seamless relationship between sales and service and your BDC, otherwise it's not going to work. But if you don't have the upper management teams having your back, it's going to fail. So another thing that Sean mentioned, you have to define what is that you want? What is that you wanted to accomplish? I was at that place for probably 5 months. During those 5 months, one month, I worked with each manufacturer, learning and everything. Second month, I hire and train. By the 3rd month, and we got really good results. By the 3rd month, they decided to change it. They decided the BDC had to do something completely different. And I was like, okay. I said, like, why are you changing? It's been barely 3 months. Oh, because you know what? Our budget is not what we thought. It's like, you didn't plan on it? I was like, this is the 2.5 month. I was like, now you're like, you want me? And they go, literally, get rid of them. Okay. And just keep 2. And I'm like, you cannot do that. So Sean nailed it like really perfectly. You need to know what you want, because if you don't set it up the proper way, and it's going to fail. You need to have the support from upper management, for the GM, from the owner. They have to believe what the BDC can do for your place. And then once that you decide to do all of that, you need to invest on the training. Because a lot of the times, let's be realistic. A dealership says, oh, let's open a BDC. and they're going to put the top salesperson as a BDC manager. It's not the same dealing face-to-face as dealing with the customer over the phone. We all know that. Okay, who's going to train this manager so they can train and lead the rest of the team? So the 4 points that Sean brought up are very important. And I think those are the things that they have to, and Wendy said it also. What are the needs? Okay, if you're going to hire a remote or outsource BDC, who are you going to have at the dealership that is going to be communicating? Because Wendy told me once, one of the hardest part of their job is making sure that the people inside the dealerships and inside the dealership is also accountable and have an open communication. It has to be open communication across all channels. It doesn't matter where you go, inside, outside. That's the only thing that is going to develop. Now, the management, BDC management, it's very important. I think when you develop that relationship between the two departments, it comes from the manager. You have to reflect that. You have to, make your reps understand the needs and pains that all the departments go through. And you have to also make the other departments understand the needs and pains that your BDC is going through. We're here to help connecting, and develop that relationship, to strengthen that relationship. So you need to work hand to hand with both of the departments.
One question for Sarah, and then Sean can go. With regards to training and everything, how do we get upper management to want to train? Like, is that like a dumb question to ask? It is like, how do we get them to do it?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that question because there's actually a lot of data behind this that's really impactful. So ESI, that's part of our company, we have a lot of data. We conduct the NADA workforce study every year. We get a lot of employment data, and we also get a lot of people data about retention and how that relates into dealership gross profit. And there's actually 20 years worth of data that correlates the matchup between employee retention and gross profit. And so just to throw a figure out there, if you can keep more of your people at 3 years or more retained within your organization, that means that they get over that 3-year hurdle and they can remain employed with your dealership. What that averages out to is a $650,000 increase in gross profit for that dealership. And if you back into it, you think about that figure for a second. When you talk about salespeople, the retention rate for a salesperson to get to 3 years is only 40%. So that means that you're losing 60% of your sales staff at that 3-year mark for keeping those employees. Now, think about that from the customer perspective, right? If you're thinking about it from the perspective of this person comes in market to buy a vehicle, they come to their showroom to go buy a car, and there's a pretty good odd that their salesperson no longer works there. And how does that make the customer feel in the service drive when they call people on the phone? What's really interesting about the BDC specifically is the BDC itself has less than 11% churn in terms of employees. So BDC agents and people in that role tend to stay longer inside of a dealership compared to other types of roles in the department. So management, if you're thinking about growth trajectory and you're thinking about investing in your people, these BDC staff that you're bringing into the organization, they have a less likelihood of leaving that store, leaving that organization. Shouldn't you invest in those people? Shouldn't you invest in the training and the day-to-day activities if those people are going to be the most loyal to you and your brand? So when you think about that whole customer experience, at the end of the day, every OEM right now is talking about employee and customer retention. Customer retention is the big KPI that they're all looking at very, very closely because we know that the likelihood that you're able to have that customer come in to your service business repeatedly, you increase the likelihood that they're going to buy their next vehicle from you, new or pre-owned. They're going to buy something from you if they're doing their service business there because they've built that trust and credibility. Well, in our BDCs, that's such an important component of how we do those day-to-day operations. And your BDC is that frontline person that's engaging with your customer that oftentimes is the voice of your entire organization, where that customer's first interaction with you is going to determine if they're going to come in or not. And so as we talk about BDC, there's often that disconnect in general management, GSMs, and director level positions because that isn't something that's always readily coached and trained when you're going through the organization and you're growing in your career. Typically a GM's role most often has come up being a salesperson to finance manager, maybe desk manager, GSM, and GM. Well, that's all the variable track, right? So when we think about where we need to invest, it's bringing that awareness to the general managers and to our future leaders that this is an important facet of your business. As more and more customers choose digital retailing and choose to start the communication online or over the phone, that interaction is going to become even more important to the whole entire customer experience. So we have to be thoughtful about how we're presenting our people and our brand to the marketplace if we want to keep that retention going. And so for me, talking to dealerships about training, that figure and talking about the data behind it and how these are your next service advisors, these are your next BDC managers, these are your next finance managers, these are your next GSMs and GMs. We are in a major talent drought right now where we're having difficulty filling a lot of roles in organizations. We're losing a lot of great people to other types of businesses. Healthcare, we're losing it to hospitality, we're losing it to a variety of facets. If you want to retain your people, you have to do the right things to train them. And it all starts with understanding that data to begin with.
That was perfect. I was like, how do we get them to think about it? And data always just shows it. Sean, do you have something to add still? Sorry.
That's been exposed because all you women are absolutely amazing. Everybody drop bombs. I'm not even sure where to start. So I'm just going to go from right to left. Okay, so first things first. Wendy nailed it. Just some takeaways. Wendy nailed it. Being a digital expert and being at our session is going to have something for everyone in every situation. Okay, I am more than confident. I am in competition with absolutely nobody on this panel. Nobody. I'm in competition with myself. As a matter of fact, and I could say, and we won't say who, but I recently sent somebody's Wendy's way. Recently, like within the last 2 weeks, someone reached out to me. I did a discovery. I looked at the elements. I know what I do. I stay in my lane. This is what I do, and this is what I'm really good at. Right? So when I did the discovery call, I felt, listen, they really need help. And I'm not going to have the hubris to just take a paycheck. I really want people to succeed. So I sent them Wendy's way because I felt that the elements in which I was discussed would be best suited for Wendy. Just like Martha and I have already had a call a couple of months ago. And, she called me and she reached out. But just like I reach out to other people as well. So what I really like about this panel, especially, is we are pretty much all pioneers. That's what's really cool. I mean, there's got to be over 100 years experience, if not more, just between the four of us, right? So if you're not going to get the answers that you seek in our session, I'm not really sure where else you're going to go. That's number one. Number two, Martha, and I got to hit Sarah last because she dropped so many amazing nuggets. Like I'm just building in my head. Martha killed it. I believe in another show, she keeps calling it the hub of the organization. I could not agree more. As a matter of fact, Martha had once, I'm not sure if it was on this show in Eddingham, but I will always remember it. Martha, thank you so much. She referred to the BDC as the artery of the dealership. And I could not agree more with the artery, just pumping blood, pumping traffic into the dealership. So now that we know that, I'll move over to Sarah. Sarah had mentioned creating a guest, well, I'm going to let these two other guys, so we said guest. Customer experience, guest experience. Choose what you want. But, Sarah mentioned the term customer experience or guest experience. I keep saying it to all the dealer principals before, I start working at them. If you want to create a guest experience, you have to create an employee experience first. But that's where the passion is going to come from. It's going to come from your people. And we kept saying it over and over, training and what happened. A lot of people are saying, I know, but, how do we train them? Like Martha was saying it, did we not calculate the budget? Is it just me, or in the last 2 years, have we not experienced, over on the sales side, the highest profits that we have ever encouraged or incurred in this? So whatever happened to a terminology I like to use, which I will be demonstrating at Digital Dealer, I call it circular economics. Whereas you take a portion of the profits and you reinvest them into the development of the people to then turn that return on investment, like Sarah was saying, you could 6x, 7x, 8x, 9x. But if you're always using the profits to buy another car, to buy another cottage, or what have you, if you're not redeploying those profits into our people, you're making a grave mistake. So one of the things I'm most excited about outside of being on this panel with everybody is that I personally am not competing with nobody. I'm very comfortable with everybody. And if I can't answer a question, I'm more than comfortable to send them this way, Wendy's way, Martha's way, and Kaylee, living here.
Back to what I But okay, so you basically took the question I was going to ask to wrap it all up. So I don't know if you still want to answer it, but I want to go through everyone and say, what are you most excited about, just about Digital Dealer and about our session that we're going to do? Because I feel like this is like the first time Digital Dealer is doing a session like this. So Martha, start with you.
I think that I'm excited. First of all, I'm excited just to be there and be with all of you. You know, there's so much knowledge, as Sean said. But, you know, I'm excited about bringing the point of view from inside your dealership. I'm right here. I know the pains. I'm the growing pains in answering those questions. Because like Sean said, I can refer someone to Sean, to Wendy, to Sarah, okay, when they need it. So answering all of those questions and helping them, trying to figure out what's the best way for them to go in, you know, and also helping them to understand that there is a dynamic that we have to have inside the BDC. I have been blessed. When I have had BDCs, my reps have been with me 8-10 years, you know, and that helps. Like Sada says, but it takes a lot of good relationship inside of the BDC. Okay, it takes a lot of like building more like a family type of style, so you understand each other. So I think I'm excited about sharing that part with everybody.
Awesome. And what about you, Sarah?
So I'm just excited about bringing more awareness to the topic in general, because I think everybody has contributed on this panel today. So many great nuggets of information. At the end of the day, there are no questions that are really, you know, bad questions when you're approaching us. So the thing that I want to just emphasize when you're a digital dealer, and if you're that person in the organization that you look at a dashboard to look at the reporting and you just glaze over because you're like, what the heck does this mean? Like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, let alone what it's measuring or what it even should actually look like. I just see a pie chart that looks neat. You know, talk to us, because we've all had real experience in organizations. We've all had real experience building these things from the ground up. We understand how to talk about these specific challenges in your organization. And it does not matter if you are a single point store with 1 or 2 agents, or you are a behemoth organization that has a 40-person call center. There's something in here that you can gain if you just ask the question. So my advice would be, just don't hesitate. Come up to us. We're all very approachable. Every one of us is very, very excited to share our knowledge and expertise with you. So that's what I'm most excited about, is just getting the chance to talk to people.
Yeah, and without it feeling like you're just trying to like sell them, you're just trying to help. Like, you know, that's the whole point of it. Wendy.
Okay, so
what are you most
again? So many nuggets. I'm sure I'll gush all over all of you in person, and I'll make all the comments then about how fabulous you were today. Just for the interest of time, so educating our dealers is so important to me. There are so many people, and forgive me, but there are those out there that give us a bad name in BDC, and they just shove a bill of goods down the dealer's throat. This is the way we do it. Boom, take it or leave it. And there's no follow up. They don't care. So whether we're on, you know, my company is growing right now, so I'm scaling, and it's intimidating because I have to mix everything I knew on site with everything I know about managing remote teams and have it all start at the core, at me. And I'm building a leadership team, and I'm so excited because we're going to go on our first leadership trip next. We're going to see Martha in Vegas next week with Carrie Pash for Equip Her. So I think it's super important that our dealers know what the options are. I mean, they can pick, and I reiterate, I don't think any one of us cares whether we do business with any particular dealers that are coming to our session or not. It would be wonderful. It would be fabulous. We have a lot to offer, but we're there to educate you and help you and give you options and help you to see the BDC world through our eyes so that you know what the potential is. If you can conceive it and you can believe it, you can achieve it. That's my best thing. My also two big things, people helping people, and what's my other one? Stronger together. So I want a dealer to be able to come and say, you know, I heard this, but I heard that. Like if you heard, oh, well, I heard outsourcing stinks because they can't speak English and they don't know how to talk and nobody listens to them. And talk to Sean about that at the convention if you want. Because he says repeatedly over the last 3, 4, however many years, yep, Wendy made a believer out of me. So if you want it on site, do it on site. If you don't have anybody or you want to cut expenses because you're struggling and you're growing, then do a centralized or do a remote. But then you can either have that outsourced company micromanage it or not for you. You can hire your own remote team, and there's someone in this room that'll show you how to do it. And then they're your hires, and you can run them any way you want. But to me, the important thing is people, process, and accountability. So figure out what kind of people you want for your store culture. What is your culture? What kind of people do you want representing your team as your team? And then build their mindset coaching, you guys. You got to build up your people because BDC reps, you guys, if you don't build up your BDC reps, for crying out loud, they get beat up all day long from dealership staff and customers. You got to build them up. You got to pump them up and you got to keep them off the ledge is what you got to do. So whatever you need to do for your team, bring it to the convention. We will solve it for you and you will go home and you'll write it down. You'll go home and you'll manifest it. Boom.
Yes. Awesome. Take us home, Sean.
Well, that was pretty good. Well, yes,
I know. I'm like, how do you follow that up? Because Wendy just...
No, it's fine. It's fine. What am I so excited about? I am so excited. I believe Sarah had mentioned before something about we're disconnected and what have you. And I totally agree with her. I am just so excited to be able to fill in the gaps. Fill in the gaps, whatever your situations are. Similar to what Sarah said. Bring your reports with you. We'll walk you through the reports.
Yes.
Bring your process with you. Make a bullet point list of, listen, these are the pain points that we have. Let's make it relevant. Let's make it actionable. I am so tired of just surface level talk. It was fun during COVID. All these, everything exploded. We're all doing podcasts. Everybody became experts all of a sudden because everybody was like hiding behind computers. Well, now you know what? Life has kind of gone back to normal and it's no longer time to talk. It's time for action. And all of these people on this panel right now, as I said, have been in the trenches. I am so ready for you. So one of the things that I want to say, especially to the people listening, this is going to pinch a little bit. This is what I do. The problems that you currently have cannot be solved at the same level of thinking that created them in the first place. The growth that you currently see is currently found in areas being mismanaged. Bring us that mismanagement and let us take care of it for you. If you have a problem, we'll solve it.
Way to take it home, Sean. Well said. So, I'm so excited for this session. And really, we just focused on BDC and anyone listening, we can take so much away from this and come to the digital dealer and learn and we can solve your problems. So thank you all for joining the podcast and I look forward to see you guys in a few weeks.
Thank you guys. See y'all soon.
Thank you for joining us. PartsEdge, the power tool for your parts department. We hope you're leaving feeling motivated, challenged, and inspired.